Neptune and Sagittarius generation. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down the Neptune and Sagittarius generation. Now, this generation typically consists of people born from 1970 to 1984. All right. So let's talk about what you can expect when someone is born in the Neptune and Sagittarius generation. This generation dreams and fantasizes about expanding their experiences and expanding their minds. All right, so let's get into Neptune. So Neptune and the sign that it's in tells us what we dream and fantasize about as a generation. So when you're a part of this generation, as a collective, you notice that you dream and fantasize about the whole concept of expanding your experiences and expanding your mind, because that's what Sagittarius rules. That's what Sagittarius energy is associated with. The whole concept of expanding your experiences and expanding your mind. So this is what this generation dreams and fantasizes about. This is something that they think about a lot. Neptune tells us, what do we fantasize about? What do we idealize? This generation idealizes the whole concept of expanding their experiences, expanding their minds. This is the spiritual philosopher generation. Neptune is associated with spirituality. Sagittarius is associated with being a philosopher, someone who has a lot of knowledge, someone who has a lot of experiences, someone who is well traveled, someone who expands their mind. So you'll notice this generation, it's like they approach the whole concept of being a philosopher from a spiritual perspective. You see them, this generation is like they have a spiritual philosopher attitude and just a way of life, and the way that they approach the whole concept of being a philosopher. Right. So it's spiritual for them. If you notice when you interact with these people and you get to know these people, this generation has strong fantasies about traveling long distance and interacting with foreigners and foreign cultures. Right. So again, Neptune tells us what we have strong fantasies about. Sagittarius energy has to do with traveling long distance, interacting with foreigners, interacting with foreign cultures. All right. So this generation has very strong fantasies about traveling long distance and interacting with foreigners and foreign cultures. This generation is very impressionable when it comes to foreigners and people who are very smart and philosophical. Neptune and the sign that it's in tells us the type of matters where we're very impressionable. So this generation, you'll notice that they're very impressionable when it comes to interacting with foreigners and people who are just very smart and philosophical people. You'll notice that this generation is very impressionable whenever they're interacting with philosophical, smart, well-traveled, foreign type people that have expanded their minds and expanded their experiences. Kobe Bryant has this placement. Now, I thought it was so interesting finding out that Kobe Bryant has this placement, because Kobe Bryant was well traveled. Kobe Bryant was said to have spoken, I think, about 3 languages. You know, he was a black man. He was born in Italy, I think he was born in Philadelphia, but then he grew up in Italy and he knew many different languages, and he had an attraction towards people who were foreigners. Like a lot of his friends were Italian and stuff like that. So I just thought that was really interesting, because you see how his Neptune played out. You see that he had that spiritual connection to people that were foreigners, and Kobe Bryant absolutely was a spiritual philosopher. He was a very smart man, very well traveled, a lot of experiences, and he was always committed to expanding his mind and expanding his experiences. And that's everything you need to know. Thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe, comment down below. Let me know what you think. Take care.